Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Previously, we began the game's fourth case, and we met our defendant, one Sosuke Natsume. I want to say, what was his last name? It was Sosuke something. Oh, Natsume, yeah, I got it right. He's a very panicky, very panicky person. And I will say that, you know what, that's probably rational. You would think more defendants in this franchise would be as freaked out as this man. He's accused of a murder. Though, actually, now that I think about it, the last time there was a defendant who was this panicky and freaked out, it didn't end so well, now did it? No, sir. Anyway, it's time for us to move on to the scene of the crime, Briar Road. Someone was stabbed in the middle of a street. Strand Street. I didn't know this was a Strand-type game. Ooh. Oh, Snowman! So this is where it happened. Briar Road. I can't help but wonder if this is royalty-free version of Baker Street. Baker Street is where Sherlock Holmes lives, right? Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. The men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know. But, Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're often depicted in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Of course, I have to try one on one day. Sure, I wouldn't mind trying them on too. I wonder if they're even comfy. Well, I hope your Hattie dream comes true. Maybe you could just go up and ask nicely. What's the Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson. This isn't on the tourist trail, as I'm fairly sure you're well aware. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. So you've been on the holding cells, What do you make of the criminal? He's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. It doesn't bother me. The bloke's in court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion. The stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow. Well, we can look around and converse. You know what, let's converse first. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I've been fascinated by the place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, ma'am. Oh, and you know I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. You certainly get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. Oh, really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes round and rouses all the laborers on his beat so they can get off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yep. Raps on their windows with a lawn pole. Did it myself, going back a bit. I had no idea. The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he starts tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day. That's the regulation distance. Can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Yeah, I'm pretty much dead after 4 miles of walking. Though I do actually have a muscular atrophication disorder, so not my fault, dude. Let me see. 20 miles? That's approximately the distance from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot? That's definitely taking things a step too far. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my! And I suppose in between all of those duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly, more alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I admit. I'd always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. It happened at around 5 in the evening, 2 days ago, just there on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Is it right that the lady is still unconscious now? You mentioned that she's being treated in hospital. I never said she was a lady. Truth is, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we won't be able to find out much about her at all. I suppose that means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Yeah, I'd imagine this, predates the practice of, having a personal ID. Here's a map of the local area I happen to have on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's yard policy to give lawyers, defendant suspects the odd bit of information to go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, but still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. The local map. Anyway, as far as we know, there was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman. So who did it, do you think? Not much of a head-scratcher, is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming not to have seen anyone else around, but just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean we can be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. How? Because, ma'am, the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. What? We have 2 very reliable witnesses, no less. Ah! It was a typical foggy London day, and your client obviously didn't see them. There were witnesses now. Uh-oh. Let's take a look at that map before I forget. Let's see. Mearsham Street, Briar Road, Calabash Road. Oh god, there's gonna be, a lot of shenanigans with these streets, I can tell. Though it is noted that, The stabbing, it looks like, this red X, it is directly next to this alleyway, which connects to all the other roads. Oh, brother. Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife, and the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Oh, great. Ah! A policeman. That might change things. And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked? Nothing peculiar about that, ma'am. Part and parcel of being a bobby. Catching them bane in the act and all that. Do you think it might be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guest. You can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow. Oh. I've no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. So that'll give you something to look forward to. That's that, then. He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, it seems. A policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh yes. Oh yes, one more thing, Inspector. What? The person who led you to the suspect. I hear that was Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Ah, special dialogue for talking to the defendant first. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks. Well, about tomorrow's trial. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Well, makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt would touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. It is all a bit strange, though. Sorry? The Reaper. He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yeah, where was he even? Yes, we did hear something to that effect. And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum. The master criminals, the violent ones. Master criminals? The violent ones? That's right. He handpicks his victims. Only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely. That's just my point, Sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Could even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. No, that's a very apt phrase, thank you. Well, it's not exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I can tell what's going on inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? Okay, that's a bit subtle there, but you'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. Are we really going to have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness, as he put it? Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. He said that Mr. Sholmes was with the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Fiddle-faddle. He would say fiddle-faddle. Ah! The man's an amateur, and I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Yeah, he has a grudge, 'cause poor Gregson keeps appearing in his stories. I don't know where he gets his information from, but he turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around, spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? Gibble gabble. He would. Ah! Ever seen this before? Oh, yes, that's Ranst magazine. The wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called great detective makes a mockery of all of us. If you ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Sholmes tale at all. Well, I suppose there is an element of that. We work our socks off, every one of us, only to be frumped, he would, by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. The man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all our criminals. That can't really be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Well, I don't think we're going to get any more useful information out of the detective. Mr. Naruhodo, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes, what is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes, exactly. Look at those shining eyes. You can't wait, can you? Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all of this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. The trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address. It's Baker Street. Oh, well, there you go. How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We better try to find our way there before Susato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage! No, hold on. So we're to have a reunion already. With the great detective, Mr. Sherlock Sholmes. Well, let's examine first of all. That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history. Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks in decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here. We
must find some cheap lodgings ourselves as soon as possible.
Yes, you're right. Cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. The windows are broken. Above the door? Oh, look at the windows of that building there.
Are you sure they're windows?
Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks.
Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps it's an empty property where nobody lives at the moment?
There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though.
Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place.
Oh, not quite done here, I don't think.
Oh, a British bicycle, look. Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore.
Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling.
It seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well.
The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that.
Goodness, do you dislike bicycles?
No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off firm ground seems reckless. If beef stroganoff were here. If you'd ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you'd agree with me.
We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around.
Fun fact, bicycles are the most efficient form of movement that mankind has ever devised, in terms of energy consumption. The clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with a dense fog as well, everything looks hazy.
Well, it is known as Foggy London Town.
You can just make out some sort of spire through the fog. It looks like it's still being built, though.
Aha! Yes, that must be the Crystal Tower, being built for the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Apparently it's going to be very striking, glazed on all sides and the symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition.
It's to be the largest exposition in history, right? I can't even begin to imagine it. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks.
It seems carriages often travel down Briar Road. It soon disperses all the snow.
I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. It seems like it would be far safer to walk on the road instead.
Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruhodo, and dressed all in black. I worry coachmen might not see you and you could be flattened by horses.
Well, thank you for the rather small concern.
Hee, what a delightful snowman.
I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It looks a little creepy, though.
Oh, it has a scarf, look.
You'd need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time. I wish I had one.
I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment, too. We certainly can't afford a scarf.
Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his.
But the person who made the snowman certainly would.
Yes, I know, you're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow.
Oh, that's a Scotland Yard carriage. They use vehicles like that to rush to crime scenes and cart away criminals.
You're very well informed, aren't you?
It's long been a dream of mine to ride one of those through the streets of London.
Well, just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows then.
But that would mean being arrested in order to ride it. Wouldn't it? Still, if it's the only way, help me find a good stone.
No, I wasn't serious. Fair enough. I think we've run out of things to look at other than these officers, so... This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred.
Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it?
That's true. I can't see anywhere an attacker would have been hiding. Oi, what are you foreigners doing here?
Ah!
We just investigate... Conspiring with that mustached fella from Japan, are ya? Conspiring? Come here to destroy evidence, have ya? Get out of here before I give you an idin. Go on.
He shoot us away like rats.
Yes, we should give him a wide berth, I think.
What a disappointing experience.
Aw. That's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. The police are making sure the crime scene is undisturbed. I have a feeling that if we wander too close, we'll be clapped in irons.
I think perhaps you're being a little overcautious. We've done nothing wrong, so we have no cause for concern.
Oh no, I'm not getting caught out again. Twice is enough. Twice I found myself in handcuffs despite not knowing a thing about what was going on.
Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences. I'm sure it's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you no favors at all.
Ugh. That is a really fair point. We ran out of things to look at, so... It's a real big shame we didn't find any new evidence, aside from that map, but... Yeah, no. To Baker Street. Anime? Anime? Yo.
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Hurlock's showers.
Why does Ryunosuke have a British accent? He's only been here like 2 days? Huh. Well, far be it from me to complain, but neat anime cutscene. That was so unnecessary, but okay. So this is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Susato? Oh, she's having a moment. Susato-san?
Many, many famous cases have been solved here in this very room.
Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I've never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about it as she seems to be.
The detective chases the villain relentlessly as he disappears into the fog down an unlit London street. Oh, the thrill of it! The romanticism! Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruhodo?
Oh, I suppose I can, yes.
So, if you don't mind, I'll just stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while longer. Please don't mind me.
She's obsessed. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. What, does he just leave his door unlocked? Excuse me, is anybody home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Anime child!
Hello, is it a big new case for Mr. Sholmes?
Hello. Wait, aren't you?
Oh, how rude of me. I'll go and make some tea at once.
I'm sure it's the same girl. No, maybe it's that other girl with the bright pink hair that ends in hearts at the end of her pigtails. Oh, there are a dime a dozen back home. Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here?
Oh, yes. Isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Sholmes to take on his case.
The King of Bohemia?
King Wilhelm Gottsreich Sigismund von Ormstein, of course.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Herlock Sholmes for a moment and look over there.
The tea's brewed, and I have a freshly baked cake as well. Oh, it's you.
I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. Ah, there you are. And taking that with you as well. Right.
I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine.
It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's antechamber.
I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before. Poor you, having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London.
Oh, yes, it was challenging.
Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know.
Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color?
Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here, and you have another ticklish trial tomorrow. Oh, and you're to defend the Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of luck.
She is very prescient to the situation.
Did Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you?
Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you, Shirley? Don't call me Shirley.
Mr. Sholmes was a fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's out on an errand again today, even though he's just returned from overseas.
Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly at that. How on earth does she know so much about us? Did she deduce all those things, do you think?
And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me. I haven't introduced myself, have I?
I am ready for the name.
It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. Oh.
Oh no. Oh no. Has anyone told her yet? Oh no. Okay, Iris Wilson, got it.
I live here together with Hurley.
Iris, is it? What a lovely name.
What?
What's the matter?
No, wait. This can't be. Did you say that your name? Your name is Wilson?
What's the matter with Shisato-san? Why is she so flustered all of a sudden?
Yes, that's right. And what are your names?
Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan.
Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikitoba. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely. Susie and Runo. Got it.
Susie? And Runo? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her, I don't know where to start.
Yes, and so do I.
Okay, first things first, we can spend the next 50 years looking around this very dense place of living. Oh, it's gonna be a while. Maybe it's more like 100 years. Okay, what on earth is this huge over-the-top machine?
That's the great analytoscope. It can analyze anything, really. Anything at all. That's absolutely incredible. It's one of Hurley's inventions. It took him a whole year. You said it was to help him with his investigations. What sort of things has he analyzed with it? Do you know? Well, actually, he hasn't used it for anything yet. Oh.
Why not?
Apparently, on the evening he finally completed it, it suddenly occurred to him, I don't actually have anything I need to analyze. Oh dear. How about you, Runo? Do you have anything you'd like to analyze?
The only thing that springs to mind is this machine itself. There's all sorts on these shelves. Chemistry apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. It's all heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment.
I keep telling Hurley not to cram so much on those shelves.
Good advice.
He wanted to look something up on one of those books a while ago, but it was so tightly wedged in he couldn't get it out, so he went and bought a new copy instead.
I've seen pictures of Western musical instruments like this. It's called a violin, isn't it?
Of course it is. Mr. Sholmes is renowned for his violin playing.
Oh, really?
Absolutely. It's often explained in the stories. It's inspirational, Mr. Naruhodo. Inspirational. I immediately started playing the koto, which was the closest Japanese stringed instrument I could find.
What a shame you couldn't bring it with you to London.
Oh, yes, well. Papa was beaming when I asked him if he would buy me one. But after a while, he asked if I would only practice when he was out of the house. So now it's merely an ornament in my room.
That must have been an awkward conversation. I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Lingering beside the fire and watching the flames flicker and dance in the grate. It's so relaxing.
We can't relax. Not when there are so many interesting things on the mantelpiece. Oh, it's just as it was described in the stories.
It is?
Yes, exactly. Inside the Persian slipper, for example, are my chocolates for elevensies. And transfixed by that large jackknife is my shopping list for the market. Oh, it's not quite how I remember it being described in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Poor Susato-san, she looks crushed. Looks like that huge metal chest is being used as a table for tea and coffee. It seems very sturdy with an equally sturdy lock.
Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't go around opening things. I always have to keep an eye on you, don't I? You're very mischievous.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Oh, that chest contains some of my most valuable things.
And that smile tells me you're not going to give us any clue about what they are.
A mystery shoe, a curious hammer, some mysterious dancing men, a bust of Napoleon. Ah, what an entrancing collection.
This is the first time in my life that I've seen a lonely old shoe displayed as an ornament.
Oh, those are all mementos that Hurley has collected from his past cases.
Really, even the bust?
Yes, that's right. When the mood takes him, he likes to throw it on the floor and smash it to dust.
The poor defenseless emperor? Mr. Sholmes destroys it?
Yes, and then he buys a new one.
You make it sound like he has the temperament of an insane sculptor.
Ah, how entrancingly bohemian of him.
Oh, actually, oh no. Oh, we're just beginning. Oh, this must be Iris's end of the room. Oh, brother. What a beautiful English tea set, and so neatly arranged.
It's a favorite pastime of mine, a cup of herbal tea in the afternoon. Tea made of herbs? That's right. I grow all sorts of herbs in the garden so I can experiment with different blends. One moment, don't go away. I'll brew a pot of the special blend I came up with earlier today.
She looks delighted. I only hope it's safe to drink.
Ah, that's my blackboard where I note down ideas.
Oh, interesting. Let's see. Black Peter? What does that mean?
Don't you want to hear what Iris has to say, Mr. Naruhodo?
I'll come back to that blackboard later. Reminds me of, like, saltpeter, maybe. That's a charming little white shelf, and full of charming little bottles, too.
Oh yes, don't touch any of those. They might explode.
Explode?
Are they exotic chemicals? To use them for exciting experiments? Yes, indeed. And as Hurley always says, chemistry is an explosive science.
Sorry?
I agree. A single discovery can trigger an explosion of innovation all around the world.
Or perhaps he just meant it literally. Either way, mental note, do not touch any bottle that belongs to Iris. What on earth is that big black lump over there? The typewriter?
Ah, that fascinating thing is called a typewriter.
Yeah, Ryunosuke, you saw that in the trial. Defendant number 4 had it, right?
It's a machine that allows you to write on paper without needing a pen. And wizardly quickly, too.
Oh, that sounds like it could be very useful for someone like me with terrible handwriting. Oh, I tell you what. I picked up the keyboard at like age 12 when I started playing World of Warcraft. That's how I self-taught how to type. Communicating with my fellow players in World of Warcraft. And let me tell you, my handwriting never recovered. I have a child's scrawl, man. Oh, snap! I think we're free. I think we're free. We did everything. Okay. Iris, talk to me. But first, look at this. Iris, could I show you this?
Oh, how exciting! What is it? Tell me all about it.
Oh, actually, I was just hoping you might be able to tell me something about it, if anything comes to mind.
Why would it?
Well, no, I suppose it wouldn't.
Tell me, I want to hear everything.
This hasn't gone according to plan. Fair enough. It was you that we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey.
Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm so sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming.
Though at that time we did have a rather large gun pointed at us.
Like this?
Ugh.
Thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you?
Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade.
Oh, Ginny? Yes, she's a professional pickpocket.
So we found out.
It was very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that.
Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption?
Exactly. So I followed her, you see, to get it back. Huh. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions.
This girl is dangerous.
Anyway, I brought Ginny back here after that, so she could apologize to my trusty technician.
Sorry, your technician?
Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock. Herlock Sholmes. We live here together.
I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Is it a daughter? No, of course not. It's John Wilson's daughter.
Daughter? Not likely.
What?
I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate.
Your roommates?
I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year.
Well, what of your mother and father?
Oh no, they're not around.
Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there.
Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course, go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of the adventures of Herlock Sholmes and... Oh, you have a copy of Rand's magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on the ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the other side of the world.
My stories?
That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness. Last night, he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from a faraway land. So I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you are the author. Yes, I'll let you in on a secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure The Speckled Band.
The Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar.
Of course, I always change one or two details in the stories here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble.
Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually.
Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but... It's a story. Some poetic license is justified to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you? So, do you mean to say... Are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rand's magazine all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson.
Susato-san's getting more and more worked up.
Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine.
No, at 10 years old?
At 10 years old.
Well, that's quite incredible.
But... Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Ah, yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl in tow? I suppose it does, yes.
Poor Susato-san. She looks like her whole world has just fallen apart. Yeah, no kidding. About before.
Yes? Yes? What's on your mind, Runo? Do tell me.
How did you know? That I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London, I mean.
Yes. Oh, and that we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How do you know all of that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted, although there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Iris Wilson is proud to present her Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
Lady, please. I'm 4 minutes away from my quota. Oh, brother.
First of all, I knew already that you were a lawyer, Runo. After all, I met you yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber.
But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that?
I observed a passport and travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket.
Oh.
So I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in the country. And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me you were unaware of London's court affairs.
The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I?
Then I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. They use those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So that told me that even though you had only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGilded, the two of you had already had cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case.
I see.
But how could you have known that the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. It obviously amused him. He told me that he'd caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling.
A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been...
Mr. Natsume. Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it, Susie? Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both come from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case.
There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Okay, it's really funny that, in complete stark contrast to Herlock, this little tyke, who probably doesn't even visit the crime scenes personally, can similarly deduce things to perfection. Got nothing wrong whatsoever. No flights of fancy, just raw, hard truth. Nailed it. Oh, that's pretty good.
Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He is silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct?
They were spot on.
That was amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction.
You even managed the certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery.
Oh, well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. That is really good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris, please?
Well, alright. So, between the extended amount of time voicing these fine young ladies and the overall bubbly personality, you can probably tell my voice is kind of getting blown out here. I'm almost losing my voice on the cusp of it, I think, so I need to end things right now. Boy, Iris would be a very fun character if I didn't have to voice her. Oh boy. It's difficult, you know. You know me. I'm very deep, manly, deep voice. Oh, I can't even do it, see? Look what this little girl's done to me. Look at what she's done to my voice. You know what I'm getting at, though, I assume. Okay, I may be coming off too negative. No, I don't dislike her, not at all. In fact, I like her. Iris Wilson is a funny character so far, and I like her. And I think the moment that she and Hurlock are in the same room, and God forbid, having a conversation with each other, oh, we are not prepared for that. No, sir. Look at me. I'm a 28-year-old balding man sitting in his computer chair in the middle of the night, in the dim light of a lamp, doing my best to imitate a bubbly 10-year-old anime girl who has pink hair. I'm doing this for you. I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy. I know I am. I need to go lie down. I'm Zephyr the Jester. This has been more of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll catch you next time. So until then, please take care.